Well, specific. No, here's what we know that people are jerks. We know that there's a lot of people that are assholes out there. We know there's a lot of people that utilize their position and their gravitas for something other. A lot of times it's riches. A lot of times it's just fun to be storytellers. But a lot of times it's been able to take advantage of the people who are powerless against you. That's without a doubt. That's been part and parcel. Then you hear stories and you go like, we all have joined a circus here. And in that circus, there is going to be all sorts of
What's
inappropriate
going on, Bud
acts,
Files?
inappropriate
How you
behavior,
doing? How you
and some of
doing?
the downright sexual predatory aspects of it. What can come out of all this is understanding
Cheers, bro.
sex and
Thanks for
flirting
stopping
and
in.
whatever you want to call it. Affairs of the flesh are never going to go away. But what can go hand in hand with that is
Oh
the
boy.
narrative that where you work actually reflects the rest of the world. That it's not one gender having control proportionally, when in fact it should be somewhere around 50-50. But it
Whoo.
is 50-50. I think there's going to be board members who are going to say, we are paying out millions of dollars for what exactly? And then you're going to see it, and then you're going to see it. It started a few weeks before the Golden Globes in 2018. We started
Man, a little bit of
hearing
allergies hitting me
that
in the throat here,
actresses and
pollen and
actors
stuff.
were pulling black. There was a full page ad in one of the Hollywood magazines that said, trade magazines that said, we're wearing black as a sign of solidarity. Hashtag
Ever made
blacks
that
sign
video?
up.
What's
It
going
is
on
a
ever?
statement being made that we will no longer
The
tolerate
video was flawless,
discrimination. We
man.
will
Very
no longer tolerate
carefully
sexual abuse.
made,
Your time
very
has
clear.
come here. So
Um, you
in
kept it to your
solidarity,
level. You know what I
actors,
mean? You
every actress
represented
in Hollywood wearing black.
everything. What a good one,
Black
man.
dresses
Cheers,
as a
bro. You got to
way
get
to
into it. Get your
show
hands
that
in
they
it.
were
Get
united
dirty.
against the kind of
Mm.
abuses that had been going on. Everyone was there to make a statement
If,
about,
excuse me for
time's
burping.
up, this is over.
If your
And
sister
then, of
finds
course,
something with
now
such a
it's
name,
women on stage announcing the
it's got to be
nominees
you
for
who
Best
told on yourself,
Director.
man.
And she kind of pauses
Got to
and
be you.
says, and here are the all-male nominees for Best Director. It was a very powerful moment. And the reason is, what Natalie Portman was alluding to is the real problem. The real problem
Excuse
is
me
that
so
there are
much.
so few women at
I'm
the
sorry 3 times
table
for
in
those burps,
Hollywood.
man.
There are so few women in positions of power behind the scenes. It is
Can't help it.
still very much a male-dominated industry where women don't have a voice. And as long as women don't have a voice, there are always going to be abuses of power. I think everyone is going to be talking about this moment tonight.
Yo, $6. That better not have been Amazon Music. I canceled that shit. I better check. Hold up.
A long time for social justice, and I think because we're Hollywood and we're in the spotlight, we
Fair enough. Fair enough. It's not.
so don't we have a responsibility to address issues, especially since just in light of what happened last year, and all these great women coming forward and telling their stories about harassment and sexual abuse in the workplace. This is just the beginning of people talking about it, talking on a red carpet about such things. It's got to be a good move, you know. What's so hopeful is that the fact that women now are speaking up, they're going on Twitter and saying this happened to me, is giving a lot of men pause. I was told that Leo DiCaprio, who's famous
Hmm.
for his love of very young models, has been extra careful as of late in social situations when he tries to pick up young girls, because he's now, over 40 and very powerful. And even actors like DiCaprio, who are sort of in this Lothario category, are changing behavior because they don't want to be accused of something later on down the line. I do think behavior will change, is changing. The real work that has to be done is giving women more of a voice in Hollywood. I don't think until women have more power, it's ever going to go away. But I do think there's an awful lot of very nervous men in Hollywood at the moment.
Saturday Sips.
The cultural shift that the interconnectedness of the internet has allowed
Saturday
is at the
Sips.
heart of the Me Too movement. And even though the movement began as a response to the allegations of Harvey Weinstein, it has become a beacon of hope to
to all those vulnerable within society who have fallen at the hands of power. No more. The brave revolution for equality, respect, and truth is now at the forefront of societies across the world. And hopefully soon, there will come a day when no one has to say, me too.
All right. That sounds interesting enough. Fuck.
Your health is personal. Now, so is your health care. Hundreds of thousands of women use hers to get access to prescription treatment for weight loss, thicker hair, and stronger mental health. Feel confident about taking control of your health with clinically proven ingredients.
Those were the days.
To your goals. Now, this is convenient, quality health care made just for you. Prioritize your health with personalized treatment. Start today at forhers.com.
Make some noise if you love pro wrestling. Make some noise if you support the LGBTQ community. One of the reasons that events like Epic Big Day Brunch and what Game Changer Wrestling is doing throughout the country.
Well, good Lord, that's RuPaul. I see RuPaul in a wrestling ring. Isn't that something? You know, Michael Musnick's videos are on YouTube, by the way. All the way in the 90s. Michael Musnick's videos are on YouTube, guys. Fucking, there's fantastic old school RuPaul videos from New York, bro. Check that shit out. Michael Musnick, journalist of many a VH1 show. Anyway, all of his original 90s videography is on YouTube. Don't miss that shit, bro. That's a corner that needs to be swept and seen. Cheers, all. Whoo! Yeah, I love how I was talking to Gut Rot. You can't find an endorsement of 211 anywhere. Nobody in the world tries to tell you it's good. I can't believe he drank one the other day, and he's like, and I drank one like soon before. I'm like, nah. That's some wild business, man. You want to get a hit quick. What's the world?
As soon as I saw Hulk Hogan, that was like, wow, he was like the superhero. My hero, your hero, everybody's hero.
What really got me was the storyline and the way the fans would get so into it.
Yo, it was a treat to be able to play our media assets last night and have many listen to that music and not know. That was fun. I hope you really like it, you know. I hope that's real. Those were the days.
And have thousands of fans cheering you on to do it.
You can have storylines that span generations, and when things are done right, it's just this indescribable moment that you feel.
But wrestling has a sexual component to it. I mean, just look at all the promo pins. Whether it's a man or a woman, wrestling is sexy and it's sexual.
When you look at professional wrestling at its base, it's two men.
Excuse me.
In a pair of like under.
Yo, Space Monkey.
And they're grappling around, and I think that there's something very.
You think you smell Fifi, Mike?
Somehow in the fans, they really separated.
Where are the Fifis, man? No, I got the other girls, the next movie girls, you know.
But to them, it just looked like wrestling.
A lot of people have what's known
Dude was in here one time painting. He was in here painting, and he was like, yo, those chicks from the 70s, man? I said, nah, they're from the 80s. He was like, oh, they look 70s, man. Yeah, dude. They were leftover, you know? They were leftover.
To reinforce the idea that this is
It's 80s, man.
their sexual orientation.
Make way for the king, King Salami. I didn't know your name was Alex. I didn't know your name was Alex. King Salami, baby. He was so stoned. Chong was so fucking stoned. That was hilarious, bro. What a fucking scene. I'm telling you, man, like, we can't stop it, man. Like, my wife and I, it's like, nah, the drumsticks weren't even big. That was in his head. Like, he had these huge-ass drumsticks, but it wasn't real. And he played like Jimmy, man. We've had Jimmy knock over the kit back in the day, man. Oh, and once he did it once because he did it out of frustration, he did it a few more times out of performance, dude, and it got wild. It got wild. One time he knocked over this guy's drum mic that his mom bought, so whatever. But that dude threw the snare drum and hit him in the head. He hit Jimmy in the head with a snare drum. Snare drum is very sharp. It's about 35 pounds, and when you throw it through the air at somebody's head, it's not that nice. But he took it like a man. He took the hit in the head, and then he told the other dude, I'm sorry. He told the other dude, I'm sorry. King Salami, baby. Yeah. Well, when he did it when he was mad, he just did it again and again a couple times, you know, because he was like, for different other situations, you know. Obviously, he had frustrations, but yeah, they threw that shit at his head, and it definitely made him bleed, and he kind of walked there almost ready to hand his own damn snare back that he got hit with, and he said, I'm sorry, man. Then there's the famous tale of Stacy, because I was like, yo, Stacy is trying to, you know, she's trying to flex some muscles here, Jimmy. You got to go attend to this. And he was like, you're right. And I was like, yeah, because she was showing. And yeah, that was one of his favorite days. Over there in the damn mud. Good on you, Jimmy. That's what drummers do. They bang things. That's what drummers do.
And that was a guy named Dizzy Davis. When he wrestled in Mexico, he used the name.
I hope he'll come up, man. I got StreamYard now.
He came in with a robe. He wore gardenias in his hair. But when he came back to the United States, George Wagner asked him, aren't you going to use this gimmick in the United States? And he says, it would never work. Well, can I use it? And he said yes, and George Wagner became
Gorgeous George. Gorgeous George. Classic. Totally wound everybody up. Gorgeous George. George Wagner.
A little bit different. He takes the gimmick to the next level. He dresses beautifully.
I remember my grandfather speaking with, like, you know, real hate. That goddamn... He hated him. But it's so funny, dude. Pearls before swine. Shit, I got a battery charge? I didn't see that coming, sorry.
You had the women who admired his good looks.
There we go.
And then you had the men who were a little bit confused by it all. Like, is this guy gay? He's got a male ballet. Oh, wait. Today he's got a female.
Yeah, one of the guitar players we worked with, Space Monkey, Russell. His mom, and I brought this up in the interview with Danny that I did outside, but his mom, her father played with Jimmy and Tommy Dorsey, the Dorsey brothers, when they were in New York. But he couldn't go on tour because of her, you know? And, like, that's some amazing shit, you know? Like, I know some guys like that, you know? Their daughter, their child, whatever. That's the way. That's what put them off traveling. That's what got Kent Stax replaced by Dave Grohl in Scream. Dave Grohl was in what's it called? Drain Damage, I guess, like Drain Damage. Yeah. And he joined them. What the fuck is their name? I just said it, dude. What the hell? S, right? Sheep shit. Scream. Yeah, he joined Scream so that they could go to tour and they could go shop around in LA for, trying to get a record deal and shit. Oh, and they went to shit too. But they were great originally, and the best album is actually the Lost one. It's from Roz Records. Roz Records is in Maryland, and it's RAS. So it's usually going to be dub or reggae. It's Ross. But anyway, they put out Scream. I think it's called No More Censorship. And it's got Skeeter playing bass. And it's got Dave Grohl playing drums. And it is fantastic Skeeter bass. I love Skeeter. Jack was up here. What a surprise the other day. He's playing with Skeeter now. Skeeter is, like he said, a spiritual person, but to a lot of us, a spiritual leader and a musical leader. Skeeter is. You know what I mean? He's also the kind of man like, I have been, that could get too drunk to handle the world and run away. But we both have to rein ourselves in, eh? A little. He'll never be sane, but I probably never will be either, Never really calculable, either as disordered or sane. Neither way. Not calculable. Cheers. Not detected. But yeah, the shit part is they threw all those records away. They didn't sell them. I have one. It's got a cutout in it, I believe, a hole punch in the corner. But I do have one. But they fucking threw them away. Oh, it's like gay plus wrestling. Let's see what it's called. Hold up. It's called Out in the Ring. So it's about wrestling and gay. It's a movie called Out in the Ring. Like I said, it started with Gorgeous George here. Because he actually, I guess some other dude had to use that gimmick in Europe or whatever and came to the U.S. and George asked, why don't you do that here? And he's like, oh, you can't do that in America, man. You're going to get slaughtered. And he's like, well, can I have it? And he's like, yeah. So Gorgeous George was the shit. But yeah, this is about like gay wrestling. Out in the Ring. It's pretty cool. Man, the one I watched, Some Kind of Heaven, was today. I watched Some Kind of Heaven. It's a retirement community in Florida. Boy, that is hilarious. What a bunch of characters, man. There's nobody knows how to dress like Florida retirees, I'll tell you that. They really know how to dress for function and fashion. Fashion and function. And you always got those dudes who are trying to like lay everybody in those retirement homes. Those dudes are funny. You got to respect them. They have not given up the ghost, brother.
And it's so funny because I remember I was like 10 or 11 years old. I said, damn, this Patterson is a badass. This guy looks like he could kick anybody's butt. I mean, he's really afraid of a tough guy.
So yeah, I'm listening to a good movie. I'm listening to it.
Patterson could really be a tough guy in the ring, but it's more than that. It's the showmanship. It's the ability to make your opponent look good. All these things come
DDT, Jake the Snake. Listen here, brother. I'm gonna take you down. You're gonna go down. You understand?
The interesting thing to remember is that in the early days,
Mean Gene, hear me out. In Oakland this Saturday, he's gonna go down. Yeah, it's crazy, Jake the Snake, man. Crazy dude, man. The cream always rises to the top. There you go. Hey, man. We always got Ric Flair. We always got Ric Flair. He is the cream, man. He's so funny, Can Ric Flair do anything wrong? No, because when he pisses you off, it's funny. He kicked the door in my face. That's the only time I saw him. He was like, ugh. That's like when I met my wife. She did the same thing. She kicked the door open. But he kicked the door open and flexed his big barrel body at me. Woo! I loved it. You know, I was like, knock me over too. You know what I'm saying? Knock me over too. This is awesome. You can't lose, bro. Woo! Woo!
And then he moved on to working in New York.
Those were the days.
Everything in New York, from being a television announcer to turning babysitting.
Nature boy, bro.
Ultimately leaving the ring
Can't lose.
to become a very important part of the machine.
We saw some good ones. I saw him. I saw Booker T really kicking ass. Dude. What a wide man. He was like, boom. Really kicking ass, man. I had to take my uncle to a show, you know, because he was in town. And yeah, Booker T, that stands out, bro. We saw fucking that dude was there too. Shit, what's his name, man? Shit. But Ric Flair was there. He did not wrestle. He was in the suit. He didn't wrestle. He was in the suit. He came up and talked. That's about it. He was the shortest. You know, he was the shortest dude around. You know how they always get little short guys to run around the ring, like kind of like in. That reminds me now of Mike Tyson's Punch Out, where you got the little fucking Mario dude. You know, but yeah, they always get short guys. But I think Ric Flair was the shortest person in the building. You know what I mean? Besides maybe the children in the seats. But Booker T was wild. You know. Right. He was so wide. He made his head look tiny, dude, and he ain't got no tiny. His neck is like out to here. He's got no tiny head, but it looks tiny because his damn shoulders are so broad, bro. And you could hear that boo boo. He was good. You know how they do a little slap extra, but you could hear the bass in the chest when he was beating dude. Boo, boo. It's killer. Was killer. Oh, which dude are they talking about now? Hold up. The guy with the makeup shit. Is that the... Oh, shit. They showed a real young picture of this guy. Hold on, man. I'm missing info, man.
And that's where he and Ron Dupree met and became a couple.
The World Tag Team Champions, the California Hells Angels.
Oh, okay. They're going as the California Hells Angels. Brock Lesnar was manufactured forward. So the Hells Angels Street Fighters is their tag team duo, and they're a couple. They're leather, you know, they're in leather and spike because Hells Angels this and that, but they're a leather couple, I suppose. Two guys. Yeah, they're a couple, yeah. Wild shit, man. That's wild shit. They look tough as fuck, too. What's up, Care Bear? How you doing? Man, I'll be right back. You guys, give me a couple minutes. I'll be right back. Hi, Care Bear. Nice to see you. How you doing this evening? Don't we have a show coming up at 7 where Wild Raven is on with Jeff? Is that right? I could be wrong, but that's coming so soon.
I was doing an article for Ring Wrestling Magazine on him, and I think Ron Dupree had probably passed away 6 years earlier at the time. And when I mentioned his name, Colt's speech changed a little bit. And before I even finished my sentence, he says, there was nobody greater or closer to me than Ron Dupree. And you could tell that losing him really hit him hard.
Chris Colt, the original rock and roll wrestler, has wrestled literally around the world.
He develops a rock and roll character that's even more out there. That actually really was a precursor to what ECW and the whole hardcore business became. He was violent, he bled all the time, he was just on the edge. And that, from what I understand, was a lot like Chris Colt really was.
He totally lived that rock and roll lifestyle he was in. I mean, that guy just lived to have a party.
He definitely spiraled. I think Ron Dupree really changed him. And
Oh. 7 o'clock is so soon.
And it's about the time. And plagues that was working against him. And even when he was out, there wasn't.
Yo, Fatima, Care Bear, how you doing? So you don't know? Yeah, I got my notifications set. Maybe I'll be notified, maybe not. So if I do, I'm gonna go check that out. For sure. How you doing, Fatima?
What happened to him and where, his life ended up.
Right now, though, just chilling for a few more. No agenda. Blessings back. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Probably not going to make it to 40. He actually made it to 49.
Time for an ad. Boring. Kind of over Hubs this weekend. Oh boy, I feel bad for him. Change the date to the 13th. Okay. Fair enough. I understand that, Care Bear, but poor guy. Poor guy. Give him a chance. He ain't meeting you right where you're at, right? So get his attention. Shake it in front of him. Say, hey, boom, boom, boom. Hey, dude, meet me where I'm at. Eye contact. Well, I don't know him or her, whatever. I don't know. Them. Tell your doctor if you get a lump or swelling in your neck. I didn't say bitchy about anybody. You did. I didn't. I believe you. Everybody's a bitch when they're irritated, Everybody's a bitch when they got an itch. Everybody likes a rhyme there. Let's try that one. Everybody's a bitch when they've got that itch. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, then give him a little distance. But let him know he needs to step back up,
Discover the weight loss you could be bound for. Ask your doctor about Zepbound.
Let him know. Come back up, come back up to expectations, sir. Like, please. That's what we do. Or him, her, whatever. But just say, we come back up to expectations so we can move from here. It's okay. Like, we gotta have each other's backs, man. It's not a one-man show here. It's not a one-person operation. You got to work together. There's no way without community, without family, without outreach, without friends, without, I guess, clingers. I don't know. All of them things. Yeah, I know. But everybody's bitching when they got that itch.
Don't take Mounjaro if you're allergic to it, or if you or someone in your family had medullary thyroid cancer or multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2.
Is moody, and you give him space when he's like that. Yeah, I say that's another thing. Is like, give him some space, but again, let him know you got to bring yourself back up. Hypercritical. Oh, okay. He's pushing you to pop off. Yeah, yep. He does this every single damn Mother's Day. Oh no, I get you. My wife. Oh boy, she's never accepted me on Mother's Day. She has a complex. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll be honest with you and just say that. She's never thought that I was I've never met the expectation. There's something there I can't fix. I can't tap. There's something there that's more personal to her. Has nothing to do with me, I know you don't complain much, Care Bear. And, safe place to do so. Safe because there's no judgment here anyway, I don't judge you. I'm trying to get you all both on track, right? So the only judgment I have here is for future health. That's all. And yeah, Fatima, I think that's an excellent tack to take, is give him some room and let him, let him miss you a little bit, I guess. I don't know how that works. I don't know how that works. But I've never been in favor on Mother's Day. And my sisters do it to me. Dude, my sisters do it to me every time. And I'm like, you're not my mom's sisters. This will be the first Mother's Day without my mother. Yeah. But my sisters always get me too. They'll trap me into some sort of sounds like a statement to me, but it's more of a question. I'm supposed to answer something I didn't know I was, you know?
When she found out that I was gay,
25, June 25, 42 years. Well, I've been with my wife since 2001. 2001.
but she made my parents think
It's a lot of years.
I was coming out there.
It's half her life plus, really. Yeah. It's half her life. We've been married for half her life. Let's put it that way.
I had to leave and go home, so for 3 months I went back home.
And not only that, she didn't have a time like I did to run around as a solo lone wolf before that either. You see what I'm saying? So she didn't have that time to explore the world in that way. And it's a missed opportunity. It's some phase that she didn't get, you know, and I understand that no matter what happens, man.
It also cost her because she left, you know.
2003, married since 2011. Right. I mean, we waited, I don't know, nearly 3 years before we got married, right? Because we were trying to be careful, but there's no such thing. You know what I mean? Like, were we careful enough? Hell no, no. You know, we fucking bumbled the whole thing. We bumbled it all. Neither one of us had an idea. You know, I didn't grow up till I was like 33, but I was married to her when I was 24. So, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't get it.
Going to the ring and coming out of the ring.
I didn't get it.
I think wrestlers like Tex Green and Sandy Parker stood out because of that. Sandy Parker.
We have our own unique histories. I'll say one thing for sure. 3 years before you got married. Yeah, we tried 3 years thinking that was a like trial period. But you don't know. You don't know.
And she found a little need for herself.
Was very prejudiced, and that was
Oh, yeah. You know what, Care Bear? Wow, you just hit on something that I never thought about, but it makes perfect sense to me. If you overextend a dating period of time, right, then you get married and it transitions into a different sort of time, and then the dating kind of stops, you know, de facto. Whoops. You know, oops, now you messed it up because what we were used to for so long isn't the same anymore, right? I didn't think about that. But geez, that's a dicey one there. You don't know? I don't know. You get pissed because we dated 7 years, lived together 5, and then you don't know who he is. Yeah, I know. And I wish, well, my wife gets into situations where she doesn't know who she is, but I don't know who I am. So, I mean, I can't explain it to her, you know? You made it 6 months. You had an ultimatum, yeah. I don't know if it's good to have a secret one, Karen. I'll be honest with you, you know. What do I know, though? You know, I'm not a success story. We had a relationship that is completely different because the trials of the world, we did not survive in the same way. We're different. So I get what you're saying, you know. It was after having kids, after your dad and his mom passed, yeah. Well, that's what I mean, like trials of life. I mean, look, I'll tell you one thing about my wife. She was raised by a single father. Otherwise, there's no freaking way she could have lived with me all this time, okay? There's no way she could have lived with me without having the unique past that she had. I had the unique past that I had. Does it cause friction in the world? Yeah, it does, you know.
And I hadn't came out this day at this point. So,
you think he knew? Yeah. Okay.
I did not really know she was gay. She'd go out.
Hey, I'm not being judgmental or critical. I'm just thinking about things in a long-term way. And hey, man, the dating thing is different than the marriage thing. And it seems like, hey, if you were used to that, it might be a shock to your whole system that you didn't realize and didn't see coming, that the state of things changes. Because that's what will happen. My wife will say something, And I'll be like, well, that sounds like dating, you know, you're going to go dating against somebody or whatever. And, you know, and she's like, why you got to be so overly critical? And I'm like, well, because, you know, I don't want to be, but that sounds crazy. Like, do you hear that the way that it sounds? And, you know, she's like, no, I don't hear it the way that it sounds. And I don't understand you. And the beat goes on, and the beat goes on. So, yeah.
And we started talking about our sexuality.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, you know, it's more of a, they say it's more of a woman thing, but I'd rather be married than be dating for sure.
Probably a marriage of convenience, which meant that she could stay in the United States. But then it turned out
Dating is like a stunt and a sport. Like, you have to do all these weird planny things, you know. It's a stunt and a sport, you know. You have to make an impression, you have to create the whole, you have to curate the experience. You have to take them to the thrift store, show them stuff, say, isn't that nice stuff? And then they buy it, and then you're like, TikTok, uh-oh, they want to spend money. No. I'm just no good at that, man. I'm no good at being calculated. I'll put my heart on my sleeve, man. Go ahead and stab me in it if you'd like. I don't care, you know. I don't change. I can't change.
As a child, my family did anything that they could possibly to try to get me involved in something that was remotely masculine. And we failed at baseball, basketball, football. We failed at Boy Scouts. But my grandfather's last-ditch effort.
I like to do things that nobody likes to do anymore, like, you know, get on the swings and hold hands and stuff. So that's pretty hard.
Was Jerry the King Lawler versus Austin Idol, the international heartthrob.
And one of those big guns of Izzy Dix Lawler with a right hand.
I was captivated immediately. You know, Austin Idol was a very popular character at that time, very flamboyant, lots of pink, lots of sparkles, and finally my family felt like they found something for me to be entertained by.
I'm sorry, Karen. I hear you on that. I hear you on that. I mean, you know, I get set up all the time. I get set up all the time, and I'm intelligent enough to see it coming. So I have to be nice through it.
I love it. There were characters,
but I do get set up.
Larger than life, and that's what made them stand out. Even Ric Flair, to a sense, that was very, you know, bedazzled. They were a little feminine.
I don't hold it against people, man. Even their pettiness, you know, it's a
there were so many wrestlers that were so
it's a thing they deserve the right to, their pettiness too, because they feel uncomfortable. I must have done you wrong. I must have. You feel uncomfortable in your wrong spot. You can feel it. You're out of balance. Is this Ric Flair coming in? Anyways, you know.
Exotic Adrian Street was huge in the South, and he was a character that was along the lines of Austin Idol.
I mean, I won't know. You know, if it's time to take a certain stand in a certain direction, that's what you do. You know, I wouldn't know. She does it. She does it to me, you know. She'll throw down gauntlets and ultimatums, you know.
Adrian Street's fascinating. He comes out of Wales. His dad was a coal worker. There's a famous picture of him in the coal mine with his big blonde hair. It showed that you could be both really tough, but also very effeminate.
He had his own just unique look. It was an amalgamation of the masculine and the feminine.
Definitely wish for a resolution that makes everybody happy. We don't know, though, you know. There's a lot of seasons here, you know, and we got to change with them, whether we're comfortable or not, because they're stronger than us. We had a fun panel last night, Pinky. How you doing, Pinky? I appreciate you coming. I appreciate you coming. Yeah, it was fun. I mean, I'll be doing another panel thing because I got time. I want Jimmy to come so I can play some of his music. It was amazing and awesome that, like, many claimed to be, like, listening to my music there and enjoying it. That was interesting because, you know, I hope he did. Ever Inferno made a video about getting 3 art cards and a whole stack of stickers. I think 12 stickers for Mini. Ever Inferno did that. It's a flawless, nice presentation. It's very well done to present his unboxing. He said something about his sister knowing where he is. Can I untag him? I'm like, dude, you got a fake name, you know? Have I seen him today? Oh, well, I didn't expect to, Karen. He drank 2 bottles of wine yesterday. He does not drink, you know? He just got his plants outside and in the ground, and he's dealing with them. And that's going to be a long, fun journey, I'm sure, but also going to be challenging. And so I'm sure he was like, hats off to today, hats off to that, I'm going to drink. So I did not expect him to see him today at all. He drank 2 bottles of, yeah, dude, 2 bottles of 14%, you know what I mean? And then I had Nancy and Jessica here together. You want to talk about a hangover to come, you know, like knocking around in his head, you know? To me, it's just energy building, you know, Nancy and Jessica, you know, mom and daughter being wild, you know, to me, it's energy inducing. It builds me up. I'm excited. I'm happy, you know. I love them. I love those guys. It's easy, you know. But to him, it might have been a little stressful. He kind of lives alone. If you haven't noticed, he kind of lives alone. And he didn't even know. And I said, yeah, they got to be 14. They were 13 point something percent. And I was like, well, there you go. That's a lot of alcohol for a dude who has had 1 drink in the last 3 years, dude. Not to mention the sulfates and the tannins or whatever. Sulfites, I guess. Sulfites and tannins. Tannins will give you a very bad hangover. They always do. Care Bear, none of us have carte blanche to be on live. None of us. Sorry. Everybody is having time and their partners are getting pissed. All of us. I'm sorry. We're making a sacrifice here. There's a little bit of piece of, you know, and you do it, but you're single. But I'm telling you, you do put a piece of flesh into this algorithm if you do this. Your significant other is not going to love it. They're not.
So ridiculous as a teenage boy watching that going, what the heck happened?
Put some ice in, yeah, for some hydration, right? There you go. Dude. That's one of the funniest things. It was one of those, I can't remember, Eliza, the comedian, Eliza. She did the one where she was making all those animal noises and shit. And she was talking about being in the bar and having a drink and having a water and having a drink and having a water and being like, I cracked the code. I can hydrate myself. I can keep partying, you know? And then you find out later you didn't really crack the code. What's up, Bree? How you doing, Bree Dazzle? Cheers. Everybody subscribe to Bree Dazzle and try to participate in the polls because there's a lot of winners. There's a lot of winners on Bree's channel.
That would incite or seem to validate hatred of people who are different.
Yeah, there's an exchange we make here, Karen. There's no way around it. You are selling something out. To be on camera, you're selling something out. I'm sorry. It's how it is in the world, man. There's always an investment and a balance. It's how it is.
That was not obviously based on ethnicity. You had guys that came in there sort of as effeminate and all those kind of guys.
Yeah, we are sacrificing something.
So that ignorance is just with the times, and they're heat by showing that on TV. They don't even care about its effects.
I'm much more about how similar humans are than different, you know. But we are still individual vessels, and so maybe the inside of the vessel, maybe everything that's in it is all the same, but the stickers you put on the outside might be of your choice. Little tiny little details, and you can't do those without making sacrifices. You can't individuate without losing touch with the rest of the world. When you individuate, you become it's a fame thing. Like fame is individuation. But when you individuate, you give up some of your connection with the broader mass.
Intuit Credit Karma. Karma you can count on.
Now stepping forward, a lot of men saying that there's a good.
I understand. But there's no way. Look, Karen, I hear that, you know. It just ends up not being a defense, if you know what I'm saying. Like, you're not on court, you're not in trial. You're not in court or on trial, I should have said. But you know, that's not a defense, you know. It's like, oh, it's just time that you're not here that I use, you know. It's somehow insidious. There's some sort of exchange that you just can't take it back, because if that partner doesn't want to share any of you with the world and you're sharing a part of yourself with the world, there will be a tension. There will be an exchange. There will be a bleeding and a sacrifice for it, because you are sharing yourself now. When you come up here and we have a good time, you're sharing yourself.
Early 90s sex scandal because he was gay. There was other people who did terrible things in the company.
I hear you. Oh yeah. And that's the right way to do it, is be like, hey, you know, the reason I need this time is because the time I spend with you. That's the right way to do it. Is like, really explicit. I don't like being explicit, you know. I'm a coded, hiding individual, you know. But explicitism is something I learned with my wife, because if something was micro-specific and I didn't say it in the micro-specific and I said it in the vagueness, it's not going to be understood. So you have to be explicit. But if you're going to share yourself with the world, there's going to be a resentment or something in there it's unavoidable. We make that exchange. I tell her I'm going to do it anyway, you know, but she knows I'm going to do whatever anyway, you know. I'm going to do whatever anyway. Whatever I think is my idea, and I don't believe it. We all use the same collection of very small number of words. We have a small, tiny little alphabet. You know what I mean? When I see other alphabets and I'm like, oh, they got more characters, maybe I could express myself more clearly. Wouldn't that be something? I wish I could learn that. And I know I could learn it, because when I first worked at a 7-Eleven, I'm 17 years old. Everything in the store has a 4-digit code. That's 4-digit code for 700 plus items, you know, and that's pretty daunting when you look at it. But then you see the patterns of category of 50 is such and such. So it's 5006, 5007 is the bigger one. 5008 is the next one. You know, you start to learn that stuff, even in 4-digit codes with 700 and 800 in front of you. And you realize I learned it in 3 or 4 days. It's like, well, I wish I had a language with more words, with more, you know, sort of avenues to express myself clearly, because explicitism, being explicit, is very important. Super hyper specific. Have I fought with a Scorpio Sun Aries rising before? I've probably fought with them all. I've probably fought with them all one time. High five. One time or another. I don't look at the negative, so why would I dwell on a fight? For me, our first 2 fights are a really good opportunity of us getting closer. That's what I think of managers. I attack that as that. If you're a company manager, you know, we might have 2 fights and finally see eye to eye. And we'll really become friends, because I'll make you better for it. I'll make you better for the holes that I see, for the info that I can give you for free, for the mavenism. You know what mavenism is? I'm Maven. If you know what mavenism is. I volunteer. Care Bear, I mean, you're revealing a lot, but you're revealing yourself as an accepting person. Do you know what I mean? You're revealing yourself as an accepting person, and, you know, boundaries are healthy. So, you know, again, I'm not giving you advice. Everything you do is appropriate, but boundaries are healthy, and you sound like you're a very giving person on those, and maybe forgiving person as well. You know, be careful.
that was risque for sure.
Oh, see, that's the thing. You don't want to hold a eventuality in the background. You don't want to hold an eventuality like, I know where this is going to go. That's called limbicism. Limbicism really is that you know what the answer is already and it's in the middle. You know what I mean? It's a compromise. So you don't want to hold a secret, because this is like, that's that TV show. What is that TV show called? I Almost Got Away with It. When you hold that secret blow up and then you throw it out, it's an I almost got away with it situation. And we'll see you on A&E or whatever. I know about kids. I got kids. But nobody knows what options they have, Karen. That's the thing. Everybody thinks they're in an insecure spot. And once it comes down to brass tacks and they really have to approach it, all these people come out of the woodwork. All your friends. You know, now we're watching Gold Dust in the gay wrestling shit. I love Gold Dust, dude. What a killer. What a killer. Anyway. No. I'm just telling you, man. Nobody knows who's got their back until they step out there, you know? I've never seen anybody falter. Never seen anybody falter. But don't hold a secret drop. The other shoe, they call it. The other shoe will drop. Don't hold a secret drop. Be upfront. Be explicit. It's the only way.
And he's just using mind games, playing to the weakness that homophobia presents, because these people whose masculinity is fragile.
Yeah. That's one of the problems in life, actually. The push and pull is exciting and necessary to a certain mind. A certain mind has to experience all the levels of emotions. Somebody who's even keel and, you know, lets it roll off their back and like that, they're considered dispassionate. They're considered dispassionate by the others, you know? That's me, though. I'll be very even keel. I don't have to have every emotion. There's no reason why I have to thumb through Deal a Meal and do every color today. You know, I might just want the green bean. Whatever. So that's the way I see it. I don't have to be through every emotion, but a lot of people do, because that's the only way that they get the tapestry of life and the complexity that satisfies them. So those people are programmed to go in waves, you know, and they have to know that they're alive. There has to be a push, a pull, a tension, a retraction, and, you know.
I mean, cool, good for you that you have like
So
gay people on screen, but
we get considered too cold, you know, if we kind of like, either we've been through it or we're beyond it, or, you know, let's just get to the eventual end here. But if there's an eventuality that's hidden in the background, you might as well drop it now. That's what I'm saying. Drop it now. Damn the consequences, because you don't know how many people have your back. But you don't know until you step out there, man. Whew. I believe in taking it easy. It's probably fine. It's just something you guys are not understanding right now. There's some block. This A looks like a B. I'm trying to show you this A. It looks like a B. There's some block we need to get around here, you know? You're the you that I knew. I'm the me that you knew. We are the we that we are now. But yet, if we immediately blame and discount each other, we're not going anywhere from here.
And then they say, oh, psych, we're not really gay. Kind of kills the whole
Yeah.
heat of it.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Karen, but again, I think you allow too much then, because it seems like the aggression still rolls out as much as you try to dissuade it. You try to cool it down. You try to, what do you call it? De-escalate the aggression, but it keeps rolling out. So, you know, that means there's an unsolved animosity behind that aggression. What is the animosity about? What is it? It's probably admiration. You're probably being judged in a way that is from jealousy and envy, you know? So there's something that you do that's so dang impressive that he feels inferior by it, and then he's fighting back because he's fighting from the corner. So you're doing something very impressive that you need to just focus on. Just make that better. You know, tell him, hey, look, we can't have yelling or throwing or wall hitting. You know, pick up the phone, push 9-1, say, hey, 9-1. You want me to push the other one or stop? You know, because I'm trying to call them before you commit a crime is the deal here, bro. Before you commit a crime, I'm trying to call them. Yeah, all guys struggle with that, Karen. They want to be the center of the universe, guys, you know. They're not. Nobody's special, you know what I mean? They're not. But they want to be, you know. And it's hard to address that, you know. It's hard to tell them without smothering on them, right? If you show them, they don't have any doubts, see? If you smother it on them and show them, they don't have any doubts. And, you know, even like very wildly insecure men, you could probably satisfy them for 3 days with one good push down, you know? One time of showing them that attention or whatever. You probably get a couple days out of them. I don't know. I'm no expert. I grew up with all sisters, you know? So I didn't have brothers. I didn't trust uncle class. You gotta do YouTube. It's gotta be part of your life because it's a way that you express yourself, connect with the rest of the world. Aren't you allowed to tavernize without, you know, going out there and getting in trouble, right? I mean, it's what you're doing is actually it's a gift to him. You're not running around out there and putting yourself in risks that you don't see. Men worry about that, dude. I'll just be honest about it. They're like, my wife doesn't even know what's gonna hit her, you know. They think like that because they want to be heroes, right? They want to be heroes. They're like, she doesn't even know the danger that she's facing right now. She went out to that place. I know that place, you know, blah blah blah. Big chest, big brain boy. Good for you. You know what I mean? Idiocy. But it's male pride or whatever, you know. It's mail time. Everybody get the mail. Oh boy. So important. Anyway. There's no justice. There's just me. You have to have that association outlet, you know? Friendship. We have real friendship out here sometimes. It's not all an illusion. It's not perfect.
Getting everyone to eat the same meal isn't easy. But who doesn't love pasta?
But yeah, you need to properly explain that I need this outlet. It's harmless. It's the easiest, cleanest, harmless way to do it. You know, you need to explain that. You say it's no disrespect to you because you said the attention thing is a big deal. The attention seeking is a big deal. So it's no slight to you, my man. I'm here for you when I'm here for you, but I do a lot for you. Can't I have 4 hours a day to go and kick it with other people online that will never bother you, you know, except to maybe send you a gift or something, you know? Could be worse, Dad, you know? Could be worse, Dad. Listen, I'm not the worst. I try. Now I'll shut up. I'll shut up. That was all blowhard nonsense.
Some people would have been a little bit taken back.
All right. See you later. So they're not having that show till the 13th. Okay. I'm really looking forward to it.
Some of the slurs that were used against her, calling her a man, and the accusations that she was transgender.
I want people to look at me and think that I'm beautiful and nice body.
I mean, don't you think everybody would think I'd be a crappy parent, Pinky? I mean, my kids are great. Like, they're very caring and polite and respectful, and, you know, they're over affectionate, I guess, you know, but could be worse, you know? Like, anybody would have said on paper, I'm a crappy parent. I'm just a fucking bum, you know what I mean? But I love them kids, you know? And I treat them like human beings that have their own agency and understanding and perspective, and I learn from them. Yeah, that's the only thing they could probably be accused of, you know, because I love pretty damn hard, you know, and I love pretty damn too many, pretty damn hard all the time, you know. I'm crying.
Wanting to achieve that mainstream acceptance as was expected of her in WWF. But I think that she probably carried a lot of emotional baggage as well. You know, the shame of
Yeah, my father now, you know, absence of my mother, he's like, oh, did I do that wrong? Did I do that wrong? Beating himself up. I'm like, dude, you have no idea. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have no idea. Um, you're just making this shit up. Like, everything was good. You know, everything was good. You made every extension to take me out like individually. Like, I'm not my sisters, right? They're a different group. It's different. So you made every attempt to take me out individually and have sort of man to man or whatever private type shit. And what else could you do, Dad? That was the best, man. And I'll never discount the fact that his firstborn, my oldest sister, she broke his fucking heart over and over and over because his expectations were so high. I can see it in the photographs from when she was born, you know? His expectations were so high. He's like, I've got this beautiful, wonderful thing, you know? And she turned out being antagonistic, you know? Because they're too much alike, you know? So that friction is just from them being so much alike that it became an uncomfortable antagonistic pairing, you know, and it broke his heart over and over and over again. Every decade, a new fucking level. You know what I mean? Shit. So I don't hold anything against them doing the best they could. Yeah, his expectations were way too high, bro. He thought he was given an angel from the gods, not realizing that there's downsides to that. So when I talk to her now, again, like they're not married, but her husband, you know, and he doesn't know anything about this. He's a pure man. So when I talk to her, I'm like, he doesn't know the hierarchy of bullyism that you're in. He doesn't understand it, and he never will, and it's good for him. He has no business. He's pure of heart. Let's leave him out of it, and we'll just deal with it in private here. We'll practice. She called me to practice speaking because my mother's not here anymore just since October, so it's newer to her. She called me because she used to just call my mom, make an excuse. I need a ride somewhere, get in the car with my mom, and then vent it all out. My mom never told anybody, never judged her, and then just led her to the right path. She called me up. She said, I need to practice talking. Mom's not here. I can't talk to her. I was like, I know. She ain't never coming back. So, what's up? And she's like, well, I got an important thing I got to do. I got to talk to you first. I got to rehearse. Cool. Talk to me first, you know. I'll tell you, hey, you might not want to go with that. It turns out the thing she was talking about was going and getting a raise and shit. And she went and she got a huge raise, you know, because she got to practice on the phone with no judgment. And that was all it took. All it took was some empathetic ear. My grandmother the same way, man. My grandmother jumped out of the window, killed herself because she was frustrated to go into assisted living and whatnot. She was 96, 98 years old. She could have just waited, you understand? But she did that because she did it to say to my dad. Because she did it on Sunday, an hour before he was supposed to call her, like she did, you know, he did every week. And she did it to say to my dad, you're not listening to me. He didn't have that empathetic ear. I talked to her about a month and a half before she did that, before she died. And she was talking about her own home and how the fear there was, you know, there's crime everywhere. They're going crazy. I'm an old lady. They're going to come in. They're going to take my shit. They're going to, you know, and all I did was like hear her out. I was like, yep. I said, I know that it seems like that. I know that they're pushing that on you, Grandma, but you know, it's not really like that. Just take it day by day, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'm so glad to talk to you. She just wanted to get it off her chest. Now, my father in the interim month, he's, you know, more like, you need to appreciate what you have. You know how hard people work. He went and saw her, you know how hard people work to pay for this and like all that, and he's treating her like his child now at the end of her life, she didn't like it, and she didn't like it, and she really turned, and my poor dad, he walked up to her casket and he said, I guess you got what you wanted. She was 98 years old. She didn't have to fucking take herself. It was coming, bro. But you know what? That was her strength of agency, man. And I'm that way too, man. I'm impatient enough. That was her strength of agency.
I hate when people come out, like, why do you have to come out? Yeah, why? Well, unfortunately, they do, because
after all that time,
that's the issue. We're not.
Her life experience was probably a separation with her God, actually. So
we're doing it so we can live. People don't understand how hard this is. I say this because this was me. This is what I thought. This is how I felt. And I wasn't okay. I wasn't okay with
like Cain. Cain couldn't be killed by God either. He had to be killed by his own creation. There was no way around.
And I just wanted the feelings to go away. So I chose conversion therapy.
But so it is, man. So it is. All right, I'm going to go because I'm going to make them some dinner. I'll be back with a StreamYard, and that means I'll have a panel. People can join in. I can play some music. Maybe Jimmy will come up, I hope. Minnie Manson playing music yesterday for you. If you really liked it, that was really cool because I know that you weren't up to it. You didn't know. So that was awesome. Peace out, everybody. See you soon.